I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to draw number 3 here at the Saville U25 Challenge. Have an A-Division game today featuring Seungyoun and Gracelyn Richards. Both teams undefeated at this point, early in this bonspiel. Seungyoun got here by virtue of a 6-0 win over Keely Duncan, and Gracelyn Richards with an 8-4 win over Kim from Korea, where she stole the last 3 ends, 4 points in the last 3 ends to win that game 8-4. Should be a good game. Seen both these teams a couple times this year, and I would expect a very well played game here. At the Saville Curling Center, brought to you today by Curling Stadium Edmonton. My name's Jim Nix. We're working with Connor Simpson Production. Bring you this game today. And we're just about to get started with having hammer here in the first end. Lead Amy Wheatcroft for Richards. Being asked to throw the draw to the house. Just a normal first end start for competition, at least at this level, where they'll go in the house and will play the hit. Great ice conditions here at the Saville Center. Been here a couple times now this year, and certainly ice that the players will enjoy playing on. Has nice speed, has nice curl, doesn't have a quite as radical a finish as some clubs, but it's a nice finish, and you can certainly bury around virtually everything. Slow hit and roll. Going with the out turn. We'll go a little straight on you if you up the weight too much, but this looks like a nice control type weight. Well done, a little roll out. It's not much of a problem. Corner guard going up for Seungyoun. Lead Sujin Kim's second stone here in the first end. Good position for that one. Richard's team sporting the University of Alberta sweaters. We certainly see many teams come out of that university, and many teams wear their colors for a while after leaving the junior ranks. These teams are all under 25 years old, some of the best young teams in the world, 10 teams on the women's side, and 13, I believe, on the men's side. We're focusing on the women's side most of this weekend. And draw goes to the back of the forefoot. So Ha will look for a hit and roll. Going to come up just a little bit more. It could be really close. And it's going to roll a little too far, I think, as Gracelyn Richards jumps on that one and removes it from play. So Richards going to stay on all defense in this end and peel this corner guard. Not a bad idea this early. Certainly not a rock that she's going to be able to use. And made perfectly. In the rings this time. Nice draw, nice chance to find draw weight early in this one. Turn hit by third. Sophia Ryerchuk will remove it. Going back to the same side. Sometimes you'll see teams move it around a little bit here after going over there in the first shot. They'll split the house on the other side. Maybe get an early miss sometimes. But well done. Same place as the previous shot. Interesting here, playing, looks like inside the edge of the rock, so plan on this rock staying dead straight or backing up a little bit even. So she's going to be fine. She's going to hit it on the red one at the back, but should stay out of play. And it does. So very nicely done. My third dryer, Chuck. They're in Kim. Throw the same shot. No trouble with that one. Richards, really nice delivery by Gracelyn Richards. This one's curling a little bit on them. They hold it. Need to hold for a piece at least. And it will jam, and it might... No, it managed to roll out as well. So nothing in the house as Ha approaches her first shot. She might play the freeze down towards this yellow, or at least in front of this yellow, to make the takeout be a little tougher. Not a lot to lose by trying this. You might as well go there. Kim with the outturn draw. He's working pretty hard on this one. They haven't been over here yet. Probably still going to be a little bit sticky. They're going to get it there. How far back do they want to come? Probably as close as they can get. Very nicely done. Good position. Richards has to play the hit and has to be a little bit careful with it. Looks pretty good, just keeping it straight. Looks like she might be able to stay on this. Not quite. Good throw, just the same. It was difficult to stay. You just be running a little bit of a risk if you try to let it go there, and more important to remove it than it was to force Ha to play the hit. So Ha will just throw this one through. Take advantage of the blank of the first end. Take hammer to the second. It's clean. Just through it, just light takeout weight. We learn a little bit from it every now and then, which is always a good thing. So we'll have a blank end here in the first end at the Saville U25 Challenge. We'll be back with you after the break.
Don't forget your brooms.
You got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one little, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
We're back for end number 2 here on a Saturday morning. Day 2 of the Saville U25 Challenge. Not much happened in the first end here. We just had a series of takeouts and up and down the sheet really for ending in a blank end for Seungyoun Ha of Korea. Chuncheon, Korea. So the opening draw goes in the house for Richards. He's going to ignore that and go to the corner guard. Nice to see. This Havrink has played 9 events already this year. Struggled a little bit early in the year. A little better of late. Had a bunch of third place finishes in the last month or so, including a third place finish at the Hearing Life Tour Challenge Tier 2 event in Charlottetown, PEI a few weeks back. That one slides into the rings. Not the preferred result, obviously, but Amy Wheatcroft will be asked to remove it. And it looks like it should be fine. Just going to hit and stay pretty much right there. We'll play a hit here. She's not going to leave 2 rocks in the house. Wouldn't mind leaving the 1. I don't think she is anyways. Well, maybe she's proved me wrong. Looks like it's going to be the corner going up again. On the opposite side, it's interesting. We're at a point where you can move that rock, but you can't remove that rock as yet, so feels pretty safe. That's a good corner. That's a nice distance too. You don't want to be real high with these. There's enough curl in this ice that if you're too high, they just don't really end up guarding anything. So Rachel Jacques, or Jax, not quite sure how she pronounces it. draw there, but I was going to ask Tai Yang to maybe make the double here. Double or hit and roll. Both will work. He's probably going to over curl a little bit. Nope. Quite get over there. So, not with too much going here just yet. She has the one corner out there, but there's getting to be a lot of yellows in the rings she's going to have to deal with before anything. Turn hit. This one's got to curl a little bit. Must feel going to help it a little bit now. That's a very good throw. Wasn't looking to roll quite that far, but ultimately Haw's going to have to make a play on it anyways. She may not get the double. Only gets one, but it's have to call that a little bit of a miss to just get the one there. Get the one and not stay at all. So Gracelyn Richards now with a chance to play a guard. Lots of time yet for the Haw ring to try to get something going this end, but also late enough in the end. Richards has an opportunity to guard, maybe make 3 or 4 good guards, and might steal a point here. Third stone, Sophia Ryerchuk. That's a little deep. The line's pretty good, though. It is a little bit of a challenge to remove them both. She may not try. She may just try to hit this right on the nose. Keep the shooter right on the nose would be a very good shot. In-turn hit coming here. Third stone, Herin Kim. He's going pretty hard on this one. And looks pretty good. Oh, beautiful shot. Very well done. Well managed. And a very good result. Creates a real problem for Team Richards. It's just, what do you do with that stone? Very difficult to remove, but she's going to take a crack at it. Well, actually, it looks like with that weight, I think maybe just playing the same shot that Hodge just played and just try to beak that one, hit it right on the nose and stay right there. It's pretty light, but it's not that light. Just over curled slightly. So all of a sudden, Ha's looking to make a shot to sit 2, maybe pick up her deuce. It's amazing how quickly things can change around. Got one very, very good shot by Third Stone. Third Stone Kim on her first one has led to an excellent opportunity to sit 2 now. Not really sure if Richards was trying to hit that on the nose or if she was trying to do something else, but it wasn't enough weight on it, I don't think, that she was trying to get rid of everything, and would have been very difficult. So the out turn hit now for Kim. Like to get a little flop behind the corner if she could. Both sweepers. I've seen these guys do this before, where Seungyoun Kim, the lead stone, kind of circles around the sweeper and helps out on the same side. Go back 50 years or so. People were quite often on the same side. Of course, back 50 years ago, they were also using straw brooms and sweeping versus brushing. But a very good shot. It's a tough double. I don't know if the double's even there. It might be if you throw it very hard. Those rocks are even, but they're also not very far apart. So when you consider when you hit that red one, you're actually one rock above the other one. It may well be there. Get the weight on it. Needs to curl a little bit more though. Very good try. Had to hit a little bit thinner. Played the out turn there, so coming off, it's a little bit flatter coming across, which is good sometimes, but it also takes some of the weight off, and you need to hit that rock a little bit thinner than they did. With an interesting choice here, she's looking at playing the yellow that's biting the forefoot and rolling some, would that be 2, 4, 5 or 6 feet over behind the yellow corner guard. That would be quite a roll. Tough to manage that roll, to be honest. So now she's thinking about also hitting and rolling behind the corner guard and where it will end up. I think she can get away with that. Gotta be careful though, you might set up a double. Nothing really wrong with hitting the yellow and rolling 2 feet to the edge of the forefoot either. You'd be in great shape right then. I think that would be my preference. I don't want to go over there and end up setting up a double and having to take one, being forced to one after Richards makes the double. There's no double if you go the way that they're indicating now. Never mind whether or not you get all the way behind the yellow. There's at least no double, and certainly enough in the game that Richards is certainly going to play a hit. And no matter where she rolls, the worst case scenario then is a hit for 2. Seungyoun Ha in the hack. A little bit rocky coming out there, but recovered nicely. She will want to roll a little bit here. Very good shot. Well done. You can see she would have liked to go 2.5 more feet up right behind the guard, but that's risky. You don't want to roll out either. Richards no choice other than to hit this one. She could hit and roll maybe a rock to the left as you look at it in the overhead, to the right on the long view, just to make the takeout a little bit tough, but you can't roll very far because you'll only be number 2. Really nowhere to roll the other way and do much other than leave an open hit for 2. So just make sure you hit this and stay. Force Ha to at least make a hit and stay to score or 2. Both these teams with great sweepers. Of course, they're all under 25 teams. They should all have great sweepers. This looks fine. This day really wasn't, as I said, there wasn't really much opportunity to do much more than that, to be honest. So Ha with the open hit and stay for 2 here in the second end. Three draws today, all covered here on Curling Stadium. 1 commentated and 2 will be just the visual. Sweepers just cleaning this. Seungyoun Kim leads stone for Ha. Nicely done, nicely thrown. Very nice weight. So Ha will pick up a deuce here in the second end and take a 2-0 lead to the third.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So Gracelyn Richards looking to make her way back from an early 2-0 deficit here in our A Division game between Seungyoun Ha and Gracelyn Richards. Been a good one so far, really well played so far. It hasn't been very complicated yet, but that's okay. You got to make the shots in the uncomplicated games before you can worry about the complicated shots, and both teams doing a good job on that so far. Ha throws up the center guard. Richards going to come around it. It's nicely done. Could have buried it if you're wondering why they wouldn't have swept that. Just didn't really like the fact it was going to end up behind the tee line, and I probably hoped it would stop a foot shorter, but that's fine. She's going to play the hit on it. It's a good enough shot right there. Just a tad too much weight for lead Amy Wheatcroft. Seungyoun Kim. The out-turn hit. Nice control weight here. Just a little bit of brushing. Trying to make it move a little now. Nice throw. Love the weight these ladies are throwing. It's it's just so much easier to control the shot if you can get in the habit of throwing a lighter weight takeout. Whatever that is for your team, I don't know, but somewhere in around that board weight kind of shot on a regular basis, and it makes this ice work really well with you or for you. You can hold everything still, and you can also get the curl, and you can carve things a little bit better than on some ice conditions, so without it getting out of hand. So good shot. Out turn here for Richard's team. Just down to the red one. Not really looking to do too much with this. Definitely want to get there. It's going to be very nice. Might have liked to stay on the red one. I'm not too sure if she was trying to get right behind or if she was trying to sit on the red. But either way, it's a pretty good result. Korean squad now going to follow that down. Just sit on the yellow. Try to get things a little complicated around the forefoot for Richards. It's a good example for teams out there that are maybe not quite as experienced. You don't have to have shot rock all the time. You can see Ha here is going to just play the freeze to the yellow. Yellow will be sitting one, but your goal in this end is more than likely to force the other team to one. And if you can clutter up that forefoot area, sometimes that's all it takes to make that happen. This one's got to curl a bunch, though. Quite a bit too heavy. Not quite a bit, I shouldn't say quite a bit. A few feet too heavy, enough that took the curl out of it a little bit. Richards now can play the double and roll away a bit. He's signaling weight. Everybody's a little different. There's some signals on curling teams that are similar most of the time when you use the shoulder tap or the tap the center of the chest or tap your foot, whatever it is. There's some that are similar to most teams, but every team has their own little way of doing things. This one's curling hard, really early. And could be on the guard. No, she'll get by the guard. And actually turned out quite good. Yeah, from what looked like it might be a potential disaster, whatever it is. There's some that are similar to look at the replay teams, but every team has their own little sweeper on it very, very early. And really looked like this was curling hard. Not get by early. And then not only does it get by, but it actually she'll get by the guard or so of the red and stays and actually turned out quite more or less behind the guard. So really a terrific shot. Looking now to run back the red. Could make this. You can run it straight back, make the raised double takeout. You'll be sitting in great position. Gonna curl a little bit more, and will it get there? It will. Not quite enough. Bit of bad luck there, but curls another probably half an inch, maybe an inch at the most. And you would have had the Rays double take out, everything buried for the red team. But that's the way curling goes, as we've said before. Sometimes one shot just turns things so radically around, it's almost bewildering at times. So Richards now with a chance to seal this off pretty good and really be in a pretty good position. There, everything's right around the 4 foot. Not perfect for the Richards team, but still has the potential to be very good. The only thing saving Ha here is that she can come in there into that pocket of box on either turn, so she can't take both away. This one's going to be a little short. I think they would have liked to have had that in. Definitely for number 3. Even right to the top of the 4 foot would have been fine. Well, now we'll play a draw or a back line, signifying black back line. That was a pretty easy one to figure out. But just a back line shot. Tap the yellow back, maybe get a little bit of an inside flop. But she's playing actually a little tiny bit more weight than I would have thought she might, just to make sure she had a chance to get to the inside. But that probably still have enough room to do that. It's a good opportunity to get in there where it could make getting 2 almost impossible for Richards. But you can't be heavy. On this one hard as well. Not quite so hard now. Just a heavy clean right now. Now it's starting to move. This is going to be a really good shot, I believe. Didn't quite get the roll, but that's a good spot just the same. Very nicely done. Richard now has to duplicate that, and it's a little harder now because the rock is a little tiny bit more behind the guard. We'll see it here. Just holding it out there and then going hard now to try to finish it up. You can see both sweepers kind of swinging really good shot, I believe. Side. And they just get that quite get the roll, but that's a good spot, just the same. The position of the yellow rock makes the shot quite a bit harder than what Ha had. To the point that it looks like Richards is actually going to peel here. Try to get both the runs off the top. And if everything went perfect here, you could actually get the yellow that's on the button. Not quite, she's just going to get the 1. I'll get the red one off the button, I should have said. Everybody kind of looking at each other here. They're going to call a timeout here. Bit surprising. They're operating on a little bit of a different system here with the timeouts. They're actually working on the they have the coach interaction plan going here where coaches can interact once per end. And I'm hoping, just going back a couple of years when I was still coaching, I don't think that anything has changed radically. You can see the coach on the ice for Team Richards. I don't even know if the Korean team has a coach with them, but if they do, the coach should be out there, can come out for one interaction in any given end, but I think they already have to be on the ice surface, so I think this timeout is just going to strictly be the 4 girls on the ice talking about it. Or maybe not. So I'm not sure what system they're using here, but anyway, at the end of the day, they are playing. This is a timeout for the Korean team. Coach on the ice now to talk about that. She could just guard here. She could go. She could play the Rays on her own onto the yellow. Remove that, and probably sit 2 when you're done. I think that's really kind of your only 2 options. You could is it really the little slash or the guard? You could draw right in there, I guess, if you drew right in and got to the inside of the red one a little bit. Tapped your one up a little bit, set a mini, short, really small Christmas tree up. Might be okay. She's looking at maybe coming around on the out turn. I don't know if I love that. I don't know for sure you can get to it. Here she can get pretty close, though. She might have to do something with it. The yellow at the back makes it a little bit more of a discussion point as well, because it's not, if it wasn't there, you could probably think a little bit harder about playing the slash and remove the yellow. And your red one probably catches on your other red one on the outside, but even if it doesn't, you're not going to be in any kind of trouble. But the way it is here, if you go after that and if you roll out too far, then Richards can just hit and sit too, because she has the yellow at the back. So it just complicates the issue just a little bit. Looks like they're going to play a little tap and roll. I don't know how far they're going to roll. Probably just an inch or two. Not going to throw enough weight, I don't think, to move it that far. So after all that, they're really just playing what amounts to pretty much a T-line draw. T-line back button draw. Tap your own and roll in front of the yellow a little bit. And to be honest, even if you don't roll, it's still going to be pretty good. You just don't want to be too much on the outside if you can help it. So Harry and Kim. This is just about exactly what she called. Can't do it much better than that. Be interesting here. See this coming in. Sweepers on this team are really good. They're very excellent judges of weight. A little bit unorthodox stances and whatnot, but they do the job. Just about exactly what she called. That was just a perfect shot. Can't do it much better. Perfect shot for what they called. I also think you can consider whether or not you might be able to make the double here. Hitting the red hard off the other red. That's the only thing about that last shot that was a bit iffy. I think this is probably worth a try. If you can get almost to the nose of the red, maybe not quite, but really close to the nose on the red, I think you can get both reds without losing any yellows. You might lose the yellow at the back, but that would be all, I think. Other than that, I think you're in a position where you're pretty much going to have to peel the guard. So that doesn't really help. You could hit the red straight back and maybe just hit it straight back and you'd be sitting one. As long as you got the angle on your shooter, right? But anyway, so they're talking about it down the other end. As I mentioned, this would be in a timeout situation. This would be the second timeout, or first timeout, I guess. But I don't think it is a timeout because obviously the team hasn't gone down. I think this is just what they call an interaction, which is just a brief chance for coaches that are on the ice to chat. And if the rules haven't changed, you get to have one of those every end. You can see there, that's a great view. You can see how that shot is possible to be able to hit almost straight back. It's if you could get right to the nose of your red, I think you can definitely remove both those reds and stay right there and be sitting two when you're done. not a lot of rocks left to try to build some angles and stuff like that right now. So Grayson doesn't know if they don't maybe look exactly on the same page, but it's the only problem. The coach can't go out and stand right in the circles with you, so you have to kind of be able to figure it out. So we're going to see here. She might be going to run the L, and she will. This one's not without some risk, too. You could easily... This comes up a little bit too much. Could take your own yellow out. It does give you a... If you're ever going to miss, at least this is going to be a... you're going to have something when this is over. Sophia Rychuk delivers. Not going to do much other than get rid of the guard. That's fine. That's obviously you were willing to accept that as a plan B, if you will. Just make sure that it goes away. I think this is pretty much have to be a guard for the Korean squad once they finish having a look at it. Game has definitely slowed up a little bit here. Just a fairly tight guard. And just about perfect, I think. I think if they had swept that much further, they would have actually opened up the double that we were looking at a minute ago. So almost an oversweep, but take another run at it. It's Gracelyn Richards this time. We'll try to make a... Well, trying to make, probably in an ideal world, trying to make a triple, I guess, if you count the guard. Probably there. Very, very tough, but probably there. I don't think she'd be too unhappy if she at least got that one off the button and had her shooter roll to the corner a little bit so it's out of the way. Should make some difference here. That's a terrific shot. Lost her own at the back, though. Still, great shot by Gracelyn Richards. A little unlucky with how they all ended up, but it was going to be difficult to get them all. You certainly moved everything out of the forefoot. You'll see this one coming in. Just trying to think of how this could have been better. Difference here. That's a terrific shot. It would have been tough to be much better than that, to be honest. You would have had to still hit it at a little bit different angle, but I don't think you could have done too much better. You are going to probably be looking at 3 on your next shot, but everything 3 or 4, and at least it's going to be wide open. And to be honest, Ha doesn't have a gimme shot here. It's, you know, half buried at least, and you have to get the weight perfect on this. You got to go to get this one by. And she will get by not very much. Couldn't really see the end when it went by, but it sure couldn't have been by very much. So great shot by Seungyoun Ha. I love the weight she throws on those takeouts. Very nicely done. Bit of a dilemma for Richards in that if she plays the hit, she has to at least get a little bit of a flop inside to score. But do you want to play a draw facing 4, 2 of them biting the forefoot? Not so sure. But when you're down 2-0, it complicates it. You have to remove the back one, but if you can get it at least just a little bit on the inside of, on the center line side of the nose, you should be fine. I haven't really played the other turn, which might be a little bit easier than making this one, because you have to come across the face with this a little bit, which I always find a little bit tougher, but not everybody does so. Gracelyn Richards now, the big shot here in the third end. Despite the fact it's early in the game, this is a very, very big shot facing 4 red stones. On this way. One has to curl a bit, I think. Trying to make it move up a little bit. I don't know if it's going to get there. Will it get there? Yeah, great shot. Nice throw by Gracelyn Richards to solidify a single point here in the third end, and she will trail 2-1 to Seungyoun Ha from Korea when we come back.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
And we're back. Jim Nix with you here at the Saville Curling Center in Edmonton, Alberta for the Saville U25 Challenge at the Curling Stadium, Edmonton. Reminder to like and subscribe to our Curling Zone Curling Stadium channel on YouTube for all the action and notification of events coming up and all of that sort of thing. So it's your best way to follow curling in Canada. So Seungyoun Ha up 2-1 playing the fourth end in what has become a little bit of a long game. We are close to an hour in here and we have only got 3 ends done. That's a little bit behind time, but certainly had some complicated after a really wide open first end. The last 2 ends have gotten a little bit more complicated and required a couple of timeouts and all that sort of thing. So not a great surprise that we're running a little bit behind on the time. No clocks that I'm aware of here, so no big issues in that regard, but you still want to keep an event running on time. Plus, you're going to have to play probably 1 or 2 or 3 games today, and you don't want to be having any shorter breaks than you can get for rest and relaxation and nourishment and all that kind of stuff. So here we go in the third in. A couple rocks in now, and just pretty much wide open at this point. Both teams, as I said the last time, both teams playing quite well, even though she ended up in some trouble the last time. Richards' team not playing bad at all, just being a little bit outcurled by the hot rink right now. Last time turned around a couple of times, looked good for Ha early, and then turned around, looked really good for Richards for a while, and then she had to make a great shot just to score. So you never know. Corner guard going up for Ha. Like to see that, despite you have a lead, but you only have a 1-point lead, so it's not exactly running high time yet. But this one might be in. No. So not bad. A tiny little bit tight, but not bad. Center guard going up for Richards here. Will it stop? Doesn't look like... Yeah, it might. No, not quite. Not quite. We were at the 6th rock, so it was going to be removable either way, but Richards still would have preferred to see it be a few feet shorter than that. Second stone, Tai Yang for the Ha rink. Very good shot as well. With it being on the rings, it forces Richards probably to hit it. Just a little bit too early in the game still to throw caution to the wind, as they say, and throw up a guard regardless. 2-1 in the 4th end. It's not the time to be in a panic mode. I think she might have set this one back just a little bit. Got a curl to stay. I don't think that's going to hang around. Yeah, Rachel Jacques. Wish I knew how to say her name. If I'm saying it right or wrong, but just slide a little bit inside and then put it back to the broom, and I just took that curl out of it. And as a result, ended up rolling out. I'm going to ignore it though, and go right around the corner by the look of it. Very aggressive move. Gonna like it. Especially for you and I watching. It makes for much more fun. Here's Kim making the loop around and helping on the same side. Might have been a little premature because now they're trying to hold it. And just a little rub, yeah. Biggest problem there, just a hair light is all. So no turn hit coming now for Ryerchuk. First rock in the fourth in. This one's curling pretty hard as well. She may get by the top, and she will not. Yeah, not a good shot there. Just underthrown, I think. Would probably be my guess. They almost never seem to have a chance there to make that shot. Tough situation now for Richards being down the point, because you're just giving them an opportunity to sit and hit and sit 2, and you only have 3 more rocks each to come. And no guards really that are going to be in the way of anything, so could need a little bit of a break here for the Richards team to prevent giving up a deuce. But still a few rocks to come. Very nicely done. Even got a roll to the outside. Make it a little bit more difficult on Richards. She will try to hit the high one here. When she was just playing and roll, not necessarily make the double, but at least roll over in the vicinity of the double to have a better chance of setting up an easier double for Richards when it comes time for her to throw. And maybe escape a deuce here. This one will have to have some weight on it. Yeah, there's really no ice again. Basically edge of the rock and looking for a fairly big roll. Definitely a better slide there by Sophia. This looks very good. That's a nice throw. Just say it was going to be very difficult to make the double. You would have had to throw it 6-second peel or something to make that double. That was a long ways across there. You're talking 4, 6, 8. You're probably 8 feet to get to the rock or thereabouts. So a good shot. Ha now really wants to roll away from that. But again, has to stay. So that's how you get out of it a little bit if you're Richards. Just try to get those rocks as close together as you can get them and give you a realistic shot at the double. This is going to be pretty close to nose. So there you go. So you got your one chance. There was nothing wrong with that throw by Team Ha either, but you have left that one opportunity at a double for Gracelyn Richards. Would not be surprised at all to see her make this. And throwing the rock very nice tonight. Tonight, I guess today. Still this morning where you guys all are. Or where some of you are at least. We have 3 draws for you today on Curling Stadium. So once again, this Alberta team is taking very little ice on most of these hits. I don't picture the ice as being that straight, but I think it's partly just the way they throw them as well. They put a lot of handle and maybe just that little bit of a outward motion, but this is not going to make the double, but it's going to be in the area at least. Ooh. A tough break. It was need to hit a little different spot. Got caught a little bit in between, which can sometimes happen when you're trying to maybe make the double, and you're trying to also maybe sit on the other rock, and too many maybes never seem to work. So But occasionally, plan A is obviously not going to work for you, so you just try to get out of it with the plan B option, and you just end up a half an inch on both sides of making it. So I will split the house here. Not really any danger on this side, even if you should Richards ever make a hit and roll behind that corner guard, you'd be number one. So shouldn't end up with much less than an open hit for 2 here, I don't think. Oh, very hard on this. Does she get there? Yeah, as it comes into view on the overhead, she's going to be fine. So deceiving looking at the screen here. It's they look like they're barely moving in the long view sometime, and then when they get to the house, you can see it had all kinds on it. So good job, good placement. Virtually impossible double now for Gracelyn Richards. She might try it, but I don't think you're going to ever be able to throw it hard enough to make it. The best case here is probably going to be to hit and stay for shot rock and hope that Ha manages to hit and roll out. Well played end here for Team Ha, and rock positioning's been very good, and they've kept the rocks, for the most part, pretty well separated. They're just having that one opportunity to maybe get out of it, and sometimes that's all you get, unfortunately, and didn't quite make it. A lot more weight on this one, so she's trying to get it at least over towards that other rock. Going to be a nose hit. Nice show, but that was a really difficult shot to make. You have to let it curl so much. So Ha with a draw for 2 to take a commanding lead to the break. Commanding might be a little too strong. Take a pretty decent lead to the break. Apologize for that. I was colorblind for a minute. Says the hit for 2 is not going to stay, I don't think. Is she going to hit it? She did. So after all that, my misinformation for you, I will only pick up 1. So a break for Richards. That's why it's so important on the shot she threw before that to make sure she stays, because you never know when you'll get a little bit of a break, and she got one. So a 3-1 lead for Ha over Richards at the 4th end break.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So, a surprise miss by Seungyoun Ha on her last shot in the third end for 2, and almost fortunate she scored one. She just barely got a piece of a wide open shot, and she's thrown the rock so well today. We certainly never envisioned that she would come close to completely missing that, but she does pick up a single point in the fourth end, which is big. 3-1 lead after 4 is you're certainly controlling the scoreboard at this point, which is nice. That's what you'd like to do. Certainly not a team that looks rattled. It's one thing it's certainly fine for most good teams, and certainly the teams from Europe particularly, I find that they don't ever appear to be rattled by anything going on out there. If it goes good or goes bad, it never seems to change their demeanor very much. So, yeah, it's good. The other games around the sheet this morning, around the rink this morning, are the other A-side game, which is Tabata and Miura, is tied at 2 after 3 ends. Plett, where are we here? Mila Plett has a commanding 5-1 lead over Keely Duncan, and Abby Whitbread has a 3-1 lead with Hammer in the fourth end over Kim from Korea. So you're up to date. Reminder, you can be up to date all day and all weekend long on Curling Zone and on Curling Stadium on our YouTube channel. All the scores, all the time. Only one game being commentated on this weekend in each draw, but we will have one, and the other games will be there for your viewing pleasure. If you have a a definite interest in any particular team, look them up, and we can probably guarantee that you'll be able to see their game, if nothing else. So Haas leads Sujin Kim. First rock here in the 5th end. Going to put this one on the center line, over the hog line, and somewhere touching that center line so it can't be moved, although you rarely see anybody playing the tick shots anymore. And it's touching the center line, so it has to stay there. It'd be interesting to note, and maybe we can find out sometime over the weekend from our viewers, how many clubs out there are playing the no-tick rule, that particular no-tick rule, for club play. I know that there certainly are several that are, and I also know that there are several that are not. They've chosen not to, and I think last year the recommendation was not to bother with it at club play, but I don't know who makes that recommendation or where it comes from, but regardless, I know our club was, we did not use that rule last year for club play, and this year, after starting that way, the decision was with what we call our team entry nights, which would be our semi-competitive nights, if you will. We don't have a lot of competitive play at our club, but those 2 nights are playing with the no-tick rule as we know it with the center line. The other 2 nights, which are more social and more mixed driven, are not playing with it. So pretty good come around there by Richards lead Amy Wheatcroft. Half buried. We'll go around and try to corner it. Should be looking not to bounce off of this, but she's probably going to a little bit. Yeah. So the intern hit. Wheatcroft to sit 2. That's a very good shot if it stays, and I think it will. Excellent shot. Richards with hammer likes where that one is quite a bit. Certainly not ready with the 3-1 lead, not ready to kind of just ignore all that and come around the guard. And decides to hit the open, easier one to hit for now. Second stall, Tai Yang. Being asked to remove this. Gotta go hard. She will hit it, but she won't be able to stay. Just got a little bit too much for that tough spot out there. You haven't thrown anything out there yet. Interesting call here for the Richards team. Going to go back out to the wings, basically where it was before. Theory being, I guess, that if she went after you once, she'll go after you again. If you can have her out there chasing that one around for a little bit, makes your opportunity to get 2 that much better. and also doesn't take all the play to the center, which, as we've talked about a couple times, sometimes causes some havoc when you're not looking for havoc. Want this one to be back a bit. You don't want her to be able to make the roll and be shot rock, especially above the tee line. So she could be shot here, but she'd at least be behind the tee line. So good draw. So not much choice but to go after it. Looking to get a little roll. It's almost going to be great. Very nicely done for Team Ha, but definitely removable for the Richards team, and opportunity to roll back in that same area she just had the stone. Just a soft hit. Not going to roll out. Might roll in, though. Nice shot. Enough room there to be able to probably come by and get an inside roll if you throw it just enough weight to remove the yellow. So she's considering all the options here, hitting the shot rock, hitting the number 2 yellow stone, maybe making the double, or even peeling the guard, but I don't see her peeling the guard. So I'm going to play this. Maybe looking for the double, but wouldn't be terribly unhappy if they're getting rid of one and staying at least somewhere near the nose of that rock. We'll turn takeout here from Erin Kim. It's going to be really close to making the double. And will she get it out? No. Bit of a sweeping error for the skip there. She just needed to be on that a little bit more. I had to hit that back one a little bit thicker. One of those little things that sometimes makes a difference when you get to the end of the end. Definitely had a chance to get rid of both. Didn't quite make it. Richard will ask her third, Sophia Ryerchuk, to make the hit and stay. This one's curling, but it should be fine. It's a good throw. So now the double, much tougher than previous shot, and you probably wouldn't play the double because it's very hard, number one, and secondly, even if you make it, you'd have to hit it on the outside, I think, to make it, and you'd never stay, which would just open up the center, and it just, nobody would ever play that. It's going to be just too hard. So she's looking to hit it a little bit on the inside, maybe flop a little. Maybe flop even all the way over in front of the yellow wouldn't be a bad shot. It's going to be pretty... Oh, did they let it go? Oh, another sweeping error. 2 big sweeping errors here in this end for Team Ha. I thought she got fooled by the weight on that or not, but they were not trying to hold that. You'll see this. The sweeper's doing really very little. A little bit of sweeping here, but nothing serious. Still not much. Still not a lot till now. Oh, did they let it go? And now you haven't got enough of the rock to stay. Oh, another sweeping error. 2 big sweeping errors here in this end for Skipper. Got to take ownership of that one, I think, other than the fact that the weight might have been not communicated quite well enough. But she needed to stay on that shot for sure. So Richards now with a chance to draw somewhere and sit 3. Here we go with the in-turn towards the rock that's just barely biting the 8-foot out there. Big arm signal from Richards indicating, I assume, that it was wide. Oh, this is a mistake. Oh, not a good throw for Wyerchuk. I'm not sure if she was actually going in the rings or if she was throwing the corner guard on that. I would think she would have been going in because I don't know if play this shot, but either way, just never came anywhere close to even clearing the red rock. And probably not enough weight. It only moved that rock a foot, so there probably wasn't enough weight to get to the house if that's where you're trying to get. But like I say, I could be wrong. She might have been just throwing it on the corner. It would prevent the possibility of this double happening or just hit and roll from here happening. But you would still have the hit and roll off the other one at the back, which is actually probably an easier shot to make if you're looking for just the roll. So Sun Yan Ha with her first rock here in the 5th end. Looking to make a hit and roll. This could be good. Oh, not quite. Tough break. We've seen a number of shots on both teams here. They've been so close to being good and just off by that little bit. So not sure what she was thinking totally there. If she was thinking double or if she was thinking just hit and roll. But it would appear with that weight and how they were going about that they were thinking double. I don't know that you needed to think double, but either way, they certainly seem like that was the case. So Richards looking to put a second stone in here. Just going to make sure you get by the guard. As long as you're in the 4-foot area, I think you'll see Ha hit number, well, right now it's number 1, but depending on where this is, it might be number 2, but whatever. It's good. The open rock, I think you'll see Ha go after the open rock with a 3-1 lead and prepared to give up the deuce if you have to. A bit of conversation. Don't hear them, so we're not sure what it's about. suspect just confirming weight would be my guess. Sweepers are in no hurry to sweep, so the weight must be there. Don't want to go too far back. That's perfect. I would say. Maybe not perfect, but pretty good. Perfect probably would have been more like 2 feet shorter than that. Just bite the top of the forefoot and be maybe slight. Well, you know, even not any more buried. Just top of the forefoot would have been a good spot. If I ever made the hit and roll, you'd be able to utilize yours that you just threw to remove it. So again, this is a double that I think would be extremely difficult. And maybe not completely necessary, at least if you get over that way, even if it touches the other rock, I think you're in if the other rock catches it, it would be perfect, even if it didn't go out. For Ha, I think it would be in a very difficult spot to remove. Seungyoun Ha. The final stone here in the 5th end. We'll make this one move a little bit, and once you get over there, I think she'll come close, but not quite. Heck of a try. You need to just curl another 3/4 of an inch. Definitely a removable rock for Gracelyn Richards. You can see probably all of it, if not certainly 7/8 of it. Just with a nice controllable weight. Should not be a problem. So with a chance to tie this up for Gracelyn Richards. It is shot rock. She does need to at least hit it to score. This looks pretty good. Just come up just a little bit. She is going to be fine, I think. And she will. So very nicely done by Gracelyn Richards. And we have quite a game on the go here. We now have a tie game after 5 ends here at the Saville Under 25 Challenge. And we will be back to you for the 6th end shortly.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
We're back in a burn burner here at 6-5-5, or after 5 rather, 3-3 after 5 ends, and between Gracelyn Richards and Seungyoun Ha. Both teams playing well for the most part, but also giving away a few points here and there, which is surprising with these teams. They're both very, very solid teams, but we do have a tie game. Ha having hammer here in the 6th in this A qualifier game at the Saville U25 Challenge. So center guard went up. Ha's going to go with the corner guard. Good job by Sujin Kim. And Richards will ask her lead, Amy Wheatcroft, to come around that center guard. It's big end to score here. Whoever scores in this end will, in theory, have control of the scoreboard for the last 2 ends. This one's staying out there a long time and a little bit deep. Not very much deep, a little bit though. So Ha going to try to take advantage of that corner guard right away and make the hit and roll. Yeah, looked like she kind of flipped that one out a little bit there. Curling, but will she be able to hold it? No. I think just a little, maybe a little extra weight and a little extra flip. Maybe the two go hand in hand, to be honest. So Richards now. Last second stone, Rachel Jocks to go around the center guard. Like to be a little bit higher than the last one. You can give away a little bit of distance. Top 4 foot's fine. Doesn't have to be button. Not curling anywhere near enough to get there, and it's also again a little bit heavy. So we leave the Korean team the same shot. Different thrower, Tai Yang will throw this one. One's out there as well. He just seems to be throwing, Holmgren seems to be throwing a little extra weight these last couple shots, where they were throwing somewhat a little bit more controlled weight most of the game. Both those last 2 rocks, one by Kim and one by Yang, appeared to be a little bit heavier than what we've seen for most of the game. So one more attempt at going around this center guard on the out turn. I don't think there's anything wrong with the turn. I think it's fine. You'll get the right curl and everything. You just got to take a little weight off. Be above the tee line versus behind the tee line. This one's coming in quite nicely. Just that little bit of weight off it allows it to curl in perfectly. And Ha will remove the center guard. So the peel now for Yang. You're going to want to move that off that center line. Very nicely done. That rock was thrown with less weight than the previous shot, which would seem contrary to what you would expect. Richard would love to steal one here and take command going into the 7th end, take command of the scoreboard, but at the very least, she's in a position to perhaps force Ha to 1 if she can make some good shots here. Not just she, but the team in general. Sophia Ryerchuk, 3rd for Team Richards. Well, lots of discussion. It's going right around. Looks like very nice line on this one. And a very good shot. Ryerchuk. You can see how I'll play the same shot probably. Maybe a little bit of a tap. Just to back there, like she said. Still trying to figure out how to get 2. She's not really too worried about the positioning of these stones other than the fact that she's trying to manufacture a deuce here, and not an easy task. So Heron Kim. Her first here in the 6th end. Maybe a little bit light, maybe on the guard. And it will be. Did get it on, which actually makes a difference. At least making Team Richards play this one is a good thing for Team Ha. Stops her from throwing a guard of any kind. That's a good shot. Leaves open the back one, though. The only thing, though, you don't really want to roll behind those yellows because they're lined up in such a way that hit it anywhere and yours will disappear. So they're going to have a little look and a little talk about it. As we said, 6th end's a big end, so you got to make sure that you keep in mind that you have to score here, especially now where it appears a blank is a virtual impossibility. So you don't want to set it up in a way that you have to draw the button, perhaps, to score. It'd be much nicer just to have the forefoot to draw to. And we will have a timeout by the Korean team. The options here really are somewhat limited. Yeah, I think you have the same shot you just tried. I don't know that you want to roll behind the yellows because I think that's just a gimme for Richards to remove it. But I think you might want to roll towards the yellow. So if you rolled so that you're just maybe edge on edge with the yellow, would give Richards something to think about and some difficulty in removing it in the chest, go through a hole, which is fairly large, but also stagger is a little bit against her. So play the top yellow and roll behind the corner, as they say there. You want to roll all the way over so that you leave that yellow exposed. Probably only getting rid of one, and may or may not save your shooter. Even if you save it, it's probably number 3. So is that good or bad? Not positive. Looks like they're probably gonna hit the top one, maybe. Yeah. So they're gonna play the hit on the top one, try to hit it, roll over behind the corners, knowing that you're probably not getting rid of both. You could get rid of both if you want to hit it really hard and really thin, and you will definitely lose your shooter to do it. So they're not too fussy about that. It's almost on the nose. Don't think it really improves things much for Team Korea there. Number 3, but Very difficult to make it better. Lots of discussion going on. It has not been a quick game. We're pushing close to 2 hours here, and we are still probably solid 10 minutes away from finishing this end. Had a few timeouts though, so that's part of it. Couple calls that you have here would be to go kind of around the long red guard and be in front of your other yellow one, which is probably the best shot. Or you come around the two that are very close together, the yellow and red, and the 12-foot, just come right around there. But if you ever slide to the back of the 4-foot, you might give Ha an out that you don't want to give her. It looks like they've settled on a guard, really. At least that's what it appeared. The last tap that I saw looked like they were talking about basically what would be somewhere between a corner guard and a center guard on the yellow that's almost on the 8-foot, or on the 4-foot rather. Gracelyn Richards, their first one here in the 6th end. It's pretty much what she was looking for. Be interesting to see the decision here for the Ha rink. How hard do you want to go to score here? You could hit the red that's on top of the yellow, just flop off it, sit number 2 and number 3, and have 2 rocks in a good position to use should you need them for the next shot. Looking at the long raise here, raise takeout, and the short raise takeout, shorter raise takeout. Much more of a steep angle, but I don't know. That is a long run back though. Looking at one indication there, you could run this onto the yellow that's on the red, or onto the red that's on the yellow rather, and then roll to the left. You'd sit 2, but if you're going to do that, you'd sit number 2, number 3. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just hit the red one that's on the top of the 12-foot and sit 2 there. It's a whole heck of a lot easier to really end up accomplishing the same thing. Looks like we're going for the run back here. Good thing for Team Richards is that you're looking at, at least looking at a Yellowstone in the combination shot there, the red and yellow. At least it's a Yellowstone in the back. So if you ever fully buried and Ha decided to run that back, and at least it's your rock, so they would both have to go. So probably about a 12-foot run back here for Seungyoun Ha. Could be in the neighborhood. Not going to curl too far. Not helpful, and I think leads to more trouble here. I think you're going to see Caitlin Richards, or Gracelyn Richards rather, going around this center combination guards. I don't know exactly where she wants to go. She's looking at taking that away. I think you got to be a little careful. I think the outturn on the yellow that's in the house is still there. Delicate, but if you can match it up, if you can come up with the right weight, I think you can get to that yellow stone and maybe score. She's trying to do here really is be number 3 and also take away the in-turn draw, or at least take it away, most of it away. You can't probably take it all away, but make it very difficult for Ha to be able to score on the in-turn side. I agree with that. That's nothing wrong with that thinking, but I just thought they should at least take another 5-second look at the outturn and make sure that that shot's not there. Gracelyn Richards, last rock here in the 6th end. Ha with 1 remaining. Gracelyn's played quite a good game today. She got burned by a couple of sweep calls early, but this is going to be a little bit of a mistake. She will not be happy with that. It's no fun drawing against 3, which is what Ha has here, but I'll tell you, it just got a lot easier than it could have been. It's so easy to say that it was just a shot you definitely don't want to be heavy on. But like I say, it's so much easier to say than to do. Sometimes you're just wanting to make it perfect. And, you know, if that stops 4 feet shorter, 5 feet shorter, it's really, really good. But as a result, it's not good. And really, you had, as much as hard to talk yourself into that, too. It's hard, you had a lot of room to draw, too, because the guard, you were really calling a guard, and biting the 8-foot was great, but anywhere top 12, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet short of the house wouldn't have been bad at all. So it's, from that point of view, it's a fairly large miss on draw weight. Sweeper's not doing much on this yet. This has got to curl a ways or stop, one of the two. Starting to move in there now. Will it get there, though? I don't think it will. And how heavy is it? Well, not a bad effort. I don't know if she just had a little too much ice or got it out a little bit, but just didn't curl quite enough. And Gracelyn Richards will steal 1, ironically, with the one that she just threw here in the 6th end, and take a 4-3 lead to the 7th end at the Saville U25 Challenge.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
So we're back. Jim Nix with you here at the Saville U25 Challenge for the final two ends. This 8 qualifying game between Gracelyn Richards and Seungyoun Ha. Richards just stealing one in the 6th end to take a 4-3 lead going into 7. Ha appeared to be off the hook when Gracelyn's last shot went in a little deep, but her last draw just didn't curl up enough, and Richards steals one. So Richards' first rock goes to the back of the 4-foot. Ha's going to try to hit that. Seungyoun Kim makes contact, removes it. It would appear that certainly has a blank in her mind, because every other time they've played this game and she's had hammer, she's thrown the corner guard up and opted not to do that there in this situation. So thinking blank, I think. Richards going into the house again. Prefer to stay above the tee line. No, she's not going to get to the house. So changing things up a little bit here for what she's done the whole game mostly. Going to go around the center guard. And this one is going almost out the back. Is it going to go? Oh, no, it did hang around. I don't know that it will come into play as the end goes on, but it did stay. And for now, Gracelyn Richards is thinking of hitting it. And she will hit it. I know what she's thinking, but I also think that you have to consider that rock not going to end up scoring or anything. And when you decide to play this shot, unless you stay, then the center guard is probably going to disappear, and Ha is on her way to a blank end. But it looks like she will stay at least. So a good shot. Shot by second stone Rachel Jocks. Well, both teams have me a little confused now, because I'm very surprised that Ha is going to play the hit on this as well. I'm going to curve this one in a little bit to get it to stay. Looks like they'll get there, and they do. Both teams continue to hit this rock at the back of the 12-foot. This seems surprising a little bit for me, but and not only that, it's difficult sometimes to stay back there 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row, but so far they've been able to do that as well. Not sure about this time though. It looks like it might not get enough to stay, and it will not. So we'll see what Ha's intents are here. And she's up right away to peel that one off. I think if I was Gracelyn Richards, I might have ducked around that center guard rather than keep trying to hit and stay there at the back of the house. But still have 5 rocks to go for the Ha team. They're going to make a lot of good peels here. Second stone, Tai Yang. Going to get just enough, it seems. She does. That's all you got to get. Just a little piece. Richard's going to throw the center guard back up. I think you'll see definitely peel for at least, maybe right to the end, but certainly until she gets down to her own stones. And if Richards decides to throw a guard up at that point, you might see Ha duck around it. Yeah, good guard there. Immediately out to call the peel for Harry and Kim. This one's not going to get much of it, but she might get enough. Will she get a piece? Just barely. Whoa, that was close. Combination of a tick and a breeze, I think, was the only reason that one got out of play. She had lots on it. That was a saving grace for sure. So not only do you want to make sure you move those rocks off the center line, you really want to move them right out of play so that Richards doesn't duck around one of them and force you to take one, even though you're not really in trouble of giving up a steal or anything, but you really don't want to get forced to one here. So third stone, Sophia Ryerchuk once again. Has to throw that same center guard. It's a good throw. Basically the same shot as she just threw. Perfect. And Kim rather will be asked to do the same thing once again on her shot. Maybe just hit a little tiny bit more of it to keep the nerves in place for the team here. And that's much better. Now we'll go away. So 2 rocks each to come. It'd be interesting to see what she's going to do here. I don't know if she tapped or not, but I suspect they just talked about it versus pointing at anything. Could still throw the guard here and be prepared to have her come around it, which she may or may not do. She probably wouldn't, but if she does, you might end up giving up a 2 at worst, but you might also steal one. So it's a little bit of cat and mouse here as to what you're going to play. She's going in the house. I guess I didn't realize she was going in, but I'm pretty sure that was intentional. She's had pretty nice weight all day, so she wouldn't have missed that guard weight by a dozen feet there. So I'll try to hit this and stay. And let Richards go ahead and hit and try to stay as well. If you ever got a rollout, then it makes your blank that much easier. give her credit for staying with the plan here. She just started out this end, the whole end, basically with the idea of blanking it after that first shot went in the house, and it's they've stayed with that, and they're now on the verge of being able to finish that off and just be down the one coming home with hammer. Good throw for Ha. Gracelyn Richards now with the hit stay. Try to force Kim, or Ha rather, to a hit and roll out to mid-length. This one looks fine. Looks like it's going to stay right in the middle of the sheet. It's not a bad place when you're trying to force somebody to blank. They have to roll a solid 6-7 feet to get it out of play. Well played in by both teams here. If you're happy, if you're Ha, in the sense that you were prepared to, you wanted to blank the end, and you're probably going to be able to do that. And for Richards, really, you weren't terribly interested in being possibly one down, so you played pretty defensive as well, and you managed to succeed on getting through this end just down one going to the 8th without hammer, but there are those that would say that's better. And she will get just enough of this to remove it. And we will have a blank end here in the 7th. So as we go to the 8th end, we have Gracelyn Richards leading Seungyoun Ha 4-3 here at the Saville U25 Challenge.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So we're back for the 8th and maybe final end of this game between Gracelyn Richards and Seungyoun Ha. A real tight game. Good game to watch. Been pretty well played and been just enough misses to make it interesting. So we have a 4-3 lead for Richards. As we go to the last end, Ha, after deliberately playing the 7th end to blank, will go hard to score a 2 here. And Richards will try to find a way to defend that. Good first rock for the Richards team, right on the 4-foot, top of the 4-foot. And a good corner here for Seungyoun Kim and the Korean squad. This one's coming right in. Right on top. A little bit offset, so certainly a double available to Ha when and if she chooses to play it. I think she'll do that. I think she'll play the straight come around. Oh, maybe not. Play the... Looks like maybe the hit and roll. Tough shot, but it eliminates at least one of the yellows. Oh, she did go right around it, but she's going to be through the house, I think. Is it? Maybe not. Will it hang on? And it will hang on at the back of the 12-foot. I was very confused by that shot. Apologize for that. Wasn't quite sure where she was standing, what she was calling, and whatnot. So it's a shot I would have expected her to play. Richards now will throw a tight guard on this. And depending on what happens next, you might see the corner guard disappear. It's a good guard. It's a little bit long, but because there's 2 rocks there that have to go, then the line was super important, and the line is very good. Could probably sneak by the guard if you wanted to, but just maybe a little too good, so she's going to remove that. These peels really with just kind of a delicate weight because you're trying to control the shooter as well. This one's going to roll a little further than she wanted, but good try. All right, going up again for Richards. Not curling enough. Might have just got over enough to make a difference for this next shot. Looks like Ha's going to play the hit on the ones in the house. I think she can definitely get to the nose. She can't maybe make the double. Well, you might make the double, but you want to save your shooter, so I don't think she'll throw it hard enough to make the double. Just try to hit this as close to the nose as you can. Remove the back one and sit number 2, number 3. This looks pretty good. She might actually get them both. Not quite, but moved it into the open. So it's a good result. See it again. It's just probably a board weightish kind of shot here. This looks pretty good. Very well controlled. They no panic at all on the guard. So might actually get them both. When you feel good when you know the ice well enough, but you know the rocks are going well enough that you can play those shots tight without being surprised by anything that happens. Third, Sophia Ryerchuk, now being asked to remove the red. Be a little light, I think. So he's had a couple of those in this game where the weight just has not been there, and we can't hear. We're not real sure whether or not it's being asked to throw weight that isn't enough, or if she's just dropping the weight too much. I feel like that was just a case of not throwing it firm enough, not to, at least not what Gracelyn was thinking was going to be coming from her. In a bit of trouble now. There is a guard still out there to work with, though, for Richards, but she's not going to be having any rocks in the house here after this shot. And Ha definitely having enough in the house to win. I was going hard on this one. So hard they shook the camera a little bit. So Richards not totally out of luck here. With the guard out here to work with, she has a chance to use it. Don't know if there's any advantage for her to use the high one. The only problem with that roll, I know what she's thinking. It's that little hit and roll just sets up behind that red with about a 2-foot raise takeout for Ha, so it's tough to know for sure. So she's going to hit the high one, try to hit and flop in behind the guard a little bit. Be a solid number 2 at least. Ryerchuk. Sweeper's indicating kind of low weight, but that might be the weight they're looking for. Just to see the hand motioning down. Trying to hit it a little bit thin. Not bad. I think she's underthrowing those a little bit from what Richards is looking for, but I'm not sure. So. So after some discussion here, Team Haas are going to look to remove the yellow. I think you have to really play this shot. Seungyoun Kim again, switching sides. Gets that down to a science, but it's going to get enough to get that out. Maybe, maybe not. Leaves it for shot rock. Both thirds coming up a little light on key takeouts here. That would have been enough if she hit a little bit more of the rock, but you would like to have had that be enough hitting just what you hit. Richards removes this one now. It's going to be a little bit tough for Ha to get her two. Absolute must to hit and stay on this. And for Richards, it would be nice if she could get just enough a roll so that she's at least 1-2 at this point. This one looks pretty good. So it's going to be right on the nose, basically. Good throw. The problem is that it's not going to be number 3. Red is number 2 rather. So red now number 2. You could, if you really wanted to, you could probably hit the yellow and roll towards the center a little bit and be 1-2 if you're Ha. At least I'm pretty sure that's the way it looks here. Certainly looks like red's number 2. A lot of circle draw on there with the brooms, but not quite sure what they're thinking. Could hit the one that Gracelyn just threw. I probably said Caitlin a few times this broadcast, but the Gracelyn just threw there and roll in, even if it goes over and bumps the yellow's fine, or if it stays behind the guard's fine. Could do that as well. Probably a little bit easier in a way, but It's a very difficult shot because you definitely want to roll at least some, and you don't want to touch your own, because if you touch your own, you're going to move it out past the other yellow. So just a real tough shot. You've got to hit probably 3/4, maybe 2/3 of the yellow stone, and roll to the left as we look at it on the overhead. So Seungyoun Ha delivering her first stone of the 8th end here. This actually looks pretty good. Doesn't roll too far. That is a great curling shot. Very well done. This team has had really good control of most of the time. We had the one end where there was a couple sweeping errors, but other than that, this team has had a really good control of the ice and reading the ice and throwing the weight to match it up. You'll see this come in. This is not an easy shot. You know, you've got to roll too far. Let it curl by a little bit and encourage it, and then make a perfect roll. And she did just that. This team has had really good. So Gracelyn Richards now looking at this, trying to figure out what to do. She can play the double on the 2 reds. Not super easy, but it's there. But I think the shot really becomes the in-turn, probably in-turn, could be either turn, but in-turn freeze to the red, I think, is what we'll probably end up with when we're done here. So the coach and the skip in the third having a little chat about it. The front end is just going to stay at the other end. Wait till they tell you to sweep. I think the double, as I said, is an option, but it's also it's a shot that I'd feel bad if I made that hit and rolled like a foot and didn't get second shot at least. So she's going to play it. It does have a couple options. You could make the double. You could hit and roll on top of that. I do like the way once they decide. It's done. Okay, this is it. Put the broom down. Now let's go through it. You don't have to have much more discussion about it. And if you make the double, you can do no worse than a tie and an extra end and make the ice makers really unhappy with you, but that's okay. So final rock in the 8th end for Richards. Obviously, biggest shot of the game so far. And she's not playing the hit and roll either way. She's playing the draw. And it has to curl. It has to curl a lot. I don't think it's going to get there. And it will not get there. And Seungyoun Ha will pick up 2 points without throwing her last stone here in the 8th end and secure a 5-4 victory over Gracelyn Richards in a good curling game. A very long curling game, but a very good curling game. For the Ha team now, they'll proceed to the playoffs as an A qualifier. For Richards, she has another chance, actually 2 more chances in a triple knockout. So she'll drop down to the B side and she'll continue to play. I'm sure we'll see her again later today. So that's it for this morning's draw here at the Saville U25 Challenge, brought to you by Curling Stadium Edmonton and the Saville Curling Center here in Edmonton. My name's Jim Nix. For myself and Connor Sims in the production, thank you for watching, and we will see you again later on today.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.